Well, and that's always been the biggest problem, I think, is especially if you listen to Colin Coward, is calling Iowa the fake idea of college football because they never play anybody tough in the non-conference. And the reality of that problem is Iowa State has been a doormat for basically their entire existence. And you need to play Iowa State. You really do. People have talked about how it's a lose-lose situation for Iowa. And up until this most recent year, it was. Iowa State was probably Iowa's second best win of the year after beating Ohio State. Now, do I end getting them at home after Iowa State's most successful season of my lifetime, probably? It's gonna be. I'm really glad we get to play that game at home in Kinnick. Iowa State does lose probably two of their best players in Joel Lanning and Alan Lazard, two guys who will definitely be playing on Sundays. But it's an important game, and if Iowa State can consistently become a good football program, then I think all those detractors go away, because that turns out that it goes from being a bad win, so to speak, to being a good win. If even Iowa State can string together, the reality of the situation is Iowa State couldn't even string together, 5, 6, 7 season wins. 3 wins is always the ceiling for that program. And now if they can help out Iowa's S&P and what have you, other advanced metrics, by winning 6 or 7 games a year, one of those losses being to Iowa in the Cy-Hawk game, then great. That's great for our schedule. Northern Illinois usually isn't a doormat in the MAC, so that should be a decent game. I remember they beat us in, I want to say, 2014 or 2013 at Kinnick Stadium. I was at that game. Northern Iowa, it's good to see them again, but they're an FCS school, so that's Iowa doesn't have the best record against FCS schools lately, with North Dakota State coming to our house last year and winning. And then going on to a schedule, Wisconsin is our first conference game, and that's really tough because, the trademark of Kirk Ferentz coach teams is Iowa always gets better as the season goes on. Though that game is in Kinnick against Wisconsin, I really wish it was a few weeks later when we could had some more time to figure things out. But I think playing Iowa State early in the year will be enough to work some kinks out. And then really going at the rest of the schedule, the only other really big game to me is at Penn State on October 27th. Beaver Stadium, as you know, is just an absolute buzzsaw usually to play. But Iowa generally plays pretty good ball there. I remember, I believe it was 08 or 09. They were number 2 or number 3, and Iowa upset them on a last-second field goal. And after that, though, the schedule lines up really nicely for Iowa to hopefully perhaps make another run at Indy and beyond. Obviously, Wisconsin will be the favorites to win the West this upcoming year. I think it was announced yesterday or the day before, Clayton Thorson tore his ACL for Northwestern in their bowl game. So who knows what next season will look like for Northwestern, what their quarterback situation looks like. And obviously, I'm really scared of Purdue. Never thought I'd say that. But what Jeff Brom has been able to do in West Lafayette is nothing short of remarkable. And but so after Wisconsin, you have to look at Iowa and see that early game matchup as maybe de facto play-in game for perhaps going to Indianapolis to represent the West. But I really like Iowa's chances. We do lose a lot. We lose all 3 starting linebackers on the defensive side of the ball, and linebacker is probably the most important second most important position for Iowa teams behind quarterback or running back. Replacing 3 guys. Let me just talk here for a moment. We're replacing Josie Jewell, Ben Neiman, and Bo Bauer. Those 3 over the past 4 years have combined for 866 tackles, 17.5 sacks, 55 tackles for a loss, 11 interceptions, and 7 forced fumbles. I don't care who you are, you just can't replace that type of production. But if anybody can, I think it's going to be Iowa defensive coordinator Phil Parker, plug and play. And I think our defensive line and defensive backfield should be able to cover up for those mistakes. And I feel probably a lot better than I should for this upcoming 2018 season.
All right. Sounds good to me. And you mentioned going to Penn State and that historic win roughly 10 years ago. It was a buzzsaw 2 years ago when he went to Penn State. But of course, this past season's game at Iowa City was one of the more entertaining defensive battles that I've seen
absolutely
in a long time, because people are typically bored by scores that don't get into the 40s, but not me. And I thought it was just an exceptional game, which it seemed like about every other pass that Trace McSorley threw got batted down at the line. And it was just an interesting game to see those two teams go at it and go down to the final play against what has proven to be one of the top 5 to 10 teams in college football. All right, Ben Ross from Black Heart Gold Pants setting us up for Iowa 2018. Ben, we appreciate you stopping by.
Thanks for having me.